What's going on, y'all? We are back in the building. Welcome back, Sky Squad. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. We got some things to talk about on this Good Tuesday. We're talking about Kandi and Todd. We got an update on them. We got to talk about Jennifer and Christian. And honestly, where in the world is the new season of Basketball Wives? I would have thought that we would have heard something new about Basketball Wives by now. But I feel like ever since that Jackie and Chantel situation, blew the net on fire, they decided for some reason to take a very long break. To be quite honest with you, if it were I who were running the network, they would have been already filming a new season. It would have already been in the can, and we would be seeing that thing right now. Okay. Because again, that story blew up on social media, online, everywhere. Okay. So that's just my thoughts. How y'all doing this morning, by the way? I see some of y'all making breakfast. Good morning to you, Shamar. Hey, Mark. What's going on? Hey, Lainey. How you doing, Angela? I see you. See Logan. What's going on? What's good? What's good? All right. So we're also going to talk about what is going on with Ashley spilling the tea about Gizelle and what Gizelle has been known. Hey, Vanessa, how you doing? Angie, what's going on? So let's get into our housekeeping real quick. If you have not gotten your ticket yet for the Life After Sunday brunch and live podcast show with me and Monique Samuels, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click in the link and get my, actually, you know what? Let me put it right here in the chat because ain't no need for excuses, baby. Ain't no need for these excuses. Go ahead and get them tickets before they sell out. You can either go to the Bethesda Theater site or you can get them via this link right here, and it will take you right there as well. So let me put that in the chat real quick for y'all who have not gotten your tickets. Boom, boom, boom. Shamar says, last time Basketball Wives got famous for violence, they went on a long hiatus. Well, you're right about that. That's right. It's going to be good. It's going to be good, Nick with BK. It's going to be good. So it's going to be Sunday, January 25th at the Bethesda Theater. We do have WPGC as our official sponsor. So, you know, they're going to be in the building as well. And the doors will open at 1. Show starts at 3. We will have a live DJ. The Tylers will be in the building from Love and Marriage DC, as well as the Duncans from Love and Marriage DC. And you can also hear Sherelle Duncan in the mornings on WPGC 95.5 FM. Do not miss this. It is going to be fun. And come out and give me a hug, man. If nothing else, let's get our good hugs in and let's have a good time. Let's get our boots on the ground because y'all know we're going to be doing it. All right, now that we got that out of the way, side note, if you were here for our Rich Talk conversations last night, chime in the chat. Let them know what they were missing out on. Let them know what they was missing out on. All right, so let's get into the Biz Naive. I'm going to start with Ashley. Let's get started with Ashley Darby. And we got to shout out our people over at NoChaser_TV on Instagram. So I think it was, what was she on?
Before me.
It was on Cocoa Butter. So you can also see this on Cocoa Butter as well, the Instagram page. And here's what happened though. And I ended up seeing it on No Chaser first, so that's why I'm pulling them up. Ashley reveals that Gizelle actually knew about her little liaison with Sharice's son for like 2 years. And Gizelle was asking her questions like, how does it feel? Yes, she was asking how did his lips feel? All of that. So This gives me further context to the scene as it played out with Ashley and Gizelle sitting in the restaurant. Do y'all remember when Ashley and Gizelle were sitting in the restaurant and they told and Ashley told Sharice about what had happened between her and Jackson, Sharice's son? She said that it was just a smooch at that point, right? And Giselle was looking like, mm, mm. I mean, that's the sound effect that in my mind her face was given. So I said, I think I said it in the review that week that I felt like Giselle already knew this, but I couldn't be sure. So now it stands to reason that as Ashley told the Watch What Happens Live and Andy Cohen audience, that there may have been more to, or she was trying to avoid getting seen on the ring cam or something to that degree, then it would also stand to reason that she probably told Giselle that if they did more, that the more that they may have done. All right. Let me put the alleged badge up here because I don't know. I'm making an educated guess, but I would wager that she probably told her everything. So so when I don't know if you saw the episode of Reasonably Shady with Robin and Giselle, where Robin had some pretty harsh feedback about what Ashley had done. Well, she kind of played it off like they were, basically. For me, again, when I look back on that scene, Sharice didn't seem angry. I said, okay, she cool with it. Why am I going to be outraged about it, right? And I get it. Again, what if I was Ashley? Would I have ever mentioned it? No. Especially in light of the fact that she says that he told her not to mention it. Angel then stated on the Angela Yee show that Jackson was mortified that it had come out in that way. So my question is, when Giselle was on Reasonably Shady, I mean, she kept a poker face, obviously, and here's the thing. If, you do want your people to keep your secrets, but at the end of the day, she didn't really have much smoke for Ashley in that as much as Robin probably did. And I can't say Robin had a lot of smoke for her. Robin was basically like, I wouldn't have, she kind of chastised her for mentioning it on television, and not once, two, and three times she mentioned it, right? So it's interesting now to go back and look at Giselle's responses as Ashley is slowly dripping information out about this little tryst. And the way she's talking about it here in this interview is just like this is the most juicy thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Gizelle, I mean, she knew, she had all the questions, like, how did his lips feel? And I'm like, I mean, y'all, I mean, is there any consideration for how Sharice feels, or do you think that maybe Sharice knew about it too? I just, the whole thing is rather confusing to me. And what's even more confusing is that Ashley is still doubling down on this conversation. Like, girl, if I were you, I would put this in my rearview mirror because ultimately the people are looking at you crazy because of it. And you are still going on about it like it's the most sexy thing since what I mean, I don't know. Maybe if it wasn't your friend's son, and if it, I mean, if I guess the saying goes, somebody's son, somebody, I don't know. But if to me, the bottom line is the man said, don't say nothing. and you tell it on TV, and now you're gushing about it in interviews, and you're talking about how your BFF was asking how did his lips feel. It just to me is it's weird. It's weird. It's a weird story to want to continue to perpetuate and put out there. But that's just me, especially given that it's alleged that the man was mortified when the news came out. I don't know. Y'all have to let me know because I don't understand it, not one bit. I don't get it. But that's just me. Um, you know, if everybody listen, at the end of the day, it could be a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with the BS. Okay. And that leads us into our next story. Speaking of Todd, now I done pulled up the wrong one. So we're going to go back. We're going to talk about them later. Act like you ain't see it. Let's talk about Kandi and Todd. And I actually got to shout out Shamar for actually, I think, sending me this bit of intel a few days ago, actually, or some such near or close combination of information. And that was also, I think, featured on Chronicle Speaks, if I am correct. So I wanted to kind of go back to where I initially saw some rumblings of this and give some credit there. But also shout out to the Bravo Shade Room for picking up this story, also from Us Weekly. All right. So let's get down into the business. So we'll talk about the headline first, right? So Kandi Burruss has filed court documents demanding a hearing to set parenting time and child support. Kandi has accused Todd of failing to contribute to the maintenance and support of the children's needs, leaving the responsibility solely on her, while Todd has traveled out of the country on multiple occasions for vacations. Todd also allegedly does not exercise parenting time with the minor children on a significant basis, despite the facade portrayed on his social media through, quote, daddy daycare. Tucker attempted to prohibit the children from traveling to New York to visit Kandi during the holiday break. Okay, let's break this on down. Let's break it on down. Now, I would go to Todd's page and show you what I think they are talking about with the daddy daycare. But because there are two minor kids that are actually actively featured there, I'm not going to do it. I don't have kids. So, when we're talking about the news, I just don't want to even bring them into it, even though it's about them, right? It's just a respect thing for me. I can't explain it. I can't move past it mentally. There's a mental block there. But I've seen the posts where he's literally, Ace and Blaze are in the background, and he's marching through the house. There is I don't want to say a grand display, but there is an active showing of the children. So I'm assuming that that's what they mean by daddy daycare. That daddy daycare is blowing me. Okay, it is blowing me. Not daddy daycare though. Daddy daycare. Daddy daycare. So let's break it down into the actual story, the meat and potatoes. Kandi Burruss has filed court docs demanding a hearing be set to determine the parenting time and child support as part of her divorce from Tucker. Now, she goes on to say that the kids have significant monthly expenses that include a nanny, tuition, extracurricular activities, birthday parties, medical bills, travel, and daily needs. Kandi has accused Todd of failing to contribute to the maintenance and support of the kids' needs, leaving it solely on her. So it sounds like Kandi is now having to pay for the nanny, the tuition, curricular activities of the extra nature, the birthday parties. We might have to cut those birthday parties out. I mean, for real, for real. Some of those extracurricular activities as well. Medical bills, travel. How much are they traveling? So she's saying that Todd is failing to contribute to any of that. Then she's claiming that Todd has failed to provide support for the kids, but he's been traveling out the country on multiple occasions for the vacations. He's been yakking it up, living it up, she says. Now, she also says that he's a self-employed entrepreneur who can provide support for the kids. She said he does not pay the mortgage or expenses for their marital home. Now, did they get a new home? Or is this the same home we saw on Bravo TV? In my mind, I would have thought that that thing was paid for. That's just me. I mean, and what do I know about their expenses other than what they are now telling us? And if they weren't telling us, then I wouldn't even need to be asking. But now it's in the prints, right here. And so what we're learning is he ain't paying for nothing. According to this is what it make it seem like, right? We don't know that as fact. I would have thought too that the house was fully paid for. Why are we still paying the mortgage on that? And again, I'm running under the basic assumption that Kandi is a millionaire and that it will be paid off. So, what is the mortgage? Is this a new house? Is this another house? Is it the guest house? But wouldn't the guest house be paid for already by now as part of the property in general? I mean, I'm just curious about that. So then she goes on to state in the filing that Todd does not exercise parenting time with the minor children on a significant basis, despite the facade of his 2 to 3 minute social media videos chronicling his daddy daycare on his social media platforms. Baby, let me tell you something. If that was not a read right there, if that was that's a read. That's the read right there. I don't even know where to go from there. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. I'm looking at your comments. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out it as well. I just thought that that was paid for. So I don't know. Let me go back and reread that sentence. He does not pay the mortgage or expenses for their marital home. Does not pay the mortgage is in present tense. So it would make it seem as though there is a current mortgage, or unless I'm reading that wrong, right? If it said he did not pay the mortgage, that would be one thing. But does not pay the mortgage is present tense, which means there is some such mortgage that we either A, don't know about, or B, are overlooking. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Kandi will tell us on her next Amazon Live. Okay. So then it's the 2 to 3 minutes social media videos chronicling his daddy daycare on social media platforms. See, They ain't even had to do him like that, baby. That daddy daycare. So then Todd claims, no, Kandi claims that Todd intentionally interfered with her custody time. Now things are getting dicey. And y'all remember we saw them pictured together during the holidays? Did anybody else see that? They were pictured with the family during the holidays. I want to know, was I the only one that seen that? Yeah, I saw them. I saw. So online. This is what is crazy. So online, it would have made it seem like things were all good. Also, like this video if you guys haven't already done so. Click that like button right now. Go ahead and tap, 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 tap in. Okay, tap in. Okay, and they mentioned specifically during the recent Christmas holiday break, Todd attempted to prohibit the children from traveling to New York to visit Kandi, even though she had previously incurred the cost of travel for the children and provided Tucker with significant notice of her intent to exercise parenting time during the children's designated holiday break. Kandi asked the court to set a custody schedule. When contacted for comment on Candy's motion, Todd's lawyer, Randall Kessler, told Us Weekly, rather than commenting to the press, we leave these matters to the court and what is in our properly filed documents. Mm. So interestingly, it sounds like this case is now being fought on two fronts. And if you guys are familiar with Law and Order, if you're familiar with a reasonable doubt, you will know that there are two arenas where you can fight a court battle. One is in the actual court, and two is in the court of public opinion. And it is probably going to be easy to fight in the court of public opinion, especially because Kandi is the established star who we all know and are more familiar with. And based on the scenario that is being presented by Kandi's attorneys in the filings, it sounds as though the picture that is being painted is one in which Todd is maybe not contributing and blocking Kandi from being able to spend time with the children. Yes, this really would be none of our business if these items weren't mentioned in the news. So, because it is Us Weekly, when they print, I mean, true, you are absolutely right. It is absolutely none of our business. What happens with them and what they choose to do, if they kept this like Michael Sterling and Eva Marcel, which you know, you got to kind of wonder about how that worked out and what that was really about. Whatever the case may be, they're back together. What I'm saying is the fact that it's featured in the news outlets, which are, and then there is information that's being provided by attorneys, then now it is being made public for public consumption. And so that's why it's out there at this point. Right. I feel like we wouldn't know if they didn't if it wasn't being put out there. And again, it's being fought on two fronts, right? One front is the court of in the actual court, as I stated, but look at what's happening. There is the subtlety of Todd, and or at least the accusation of the subtle social media posts that would indicate, as they say, daddy daycare. So there's the social media posts in which that's one avenue that one can showcase what is happening, whether it is as a parent or what have you. And in which case, listen, people have the right to post their children. So it is what it is. But then if one other side feels like, well, y'all, you have never done this before, which I've not scrubbed his social media, so I can't really say that, then they could say that, oh, well, you're using your social media as a way to make it seem as though you're doing some things that you are actually not doing regularly, right? So I think that's why you're seeing what you're seeing play out, is because both sides have a strategy that I think that they are hoping will sway. Ultimately, the judge is the only factor here that will really matter. But these posts and what's out there, they do in some way, shape, or form end up contributing, as much as we would like to think that they don't, probably to what ends up happening. And then how the public views it. Now, Toya BC says Todd has been posting daddy daycare for years. He and Kandi has a podcast discussing his position as a parent. So then, what is really going on? And then, why are they bringing us into it, or at least the news? You know? So it's unfortunate. We'll see what happens with this situation, or maybe we won't see, right? I'm not mad if we don't hear nothing else about it and they just somehow settle in court and figure it out. And the next thing we know, they're just all posting happily and everybody is good. That's to be is kind of what I hope. You know, we don't at the end of the day, all of this stuff that they're making public, I feel like there's no need for that. I feel like I say that with every divorce that pops up. Like, if y'all could find a way to like just settle this thing behind the scenes, things usually work out for the better. Again, nobody was talking about Eva Marcel's divorce. Now, again, they ended up back together, which is great, but we knew nothing about it. We knew absolutely zero about it. That's what that's the point that I hope that they can get to. All right. We've got a final story for you. Jennifer is back in the news by way of husband Christian Gold, because he is being ordered to pay nearly 300,000 in default judgment after ignoring a lawsuit over a fake investment scheme. All right. So here's what's happening. He got hit with this 300,000 judgment because he failed to respond to a civil lawsuit in Georgia. According to the complaint, he allegedly engaged in conduct that caused financial harm to multiple people, forming the basis of the civil RICO claims. Now, he was accused of swindling more than 100 people out of money after allegedly convincing them to invest in a fake opportunity. Y'all know that, he had been the source of a lot of the drama on Basketball Wives with Evelyn's aunt or cousin or somebody else who had apparently, invested with him. And people were trying to warn Jennifer about him. And so now, as a result of ignoring this lawsuit, he's actually ordered to pay 368,000. I, for the longest time, tried to understand the business model, and I think that or where it went wrong, and I, for the life of me, cannot understand it, such that it has become a RICO charge. Like, that can encompass a lot of different things, right? So, how does one ignore a lawsuit in my mind? Like, did you not know it was happening? I would assume that because you had already been dealing with several other issues with regards to this, that you would be on the lookout for any other potential things that may be coming down the pipeline. So, how did this get lost in the shuffle? And again, if if the business, and I don't know what the business model was. All I know was investments. That's it, right? Investments in my mind, when I hear that, somebody is, to be honest with you, when I make investments, I usually think about making them via Robinhood, E-Trade, Webull, Coinbase, Morgan Stanley, you know, like companies that are pretty much well known. So I don't know how his business model works, or what seems so lucrative, or what the end result was promised, right? Was it that, oh, you invest your money with me and then I will help you get this larger return? Or is it, oh, I will, if you, I could maybe, was it an investment course? What was it? What was promised to the people as a result of them giving him the money? Was he promising them that he was going to manage their trades and their stocks and stuff like that? Was he gonna teach them how to do it? Because that's a completely different thing. I could see if you pay somebody to teach you something, if that was his business, then okay, cool. But then it seems like it has to be way more severe than that, because it sounds like people were maybe promised something as a result of them giving him the money. Like, oh, well, I'm going to invest your money and here is going to be your return. I just don't get it. I don't get the business model. So maybe this is it. Barbara Taylor says make money in trading with their money. Oh, oh, that would stress me out. Right? Like, how do you even, yeah, man, I think probably the best way to go, I don't know. I don't really know. All I know is what I know. Let me just let you know that. Okay, Angela says this. Not teach, he was to invest and manage and guaranteed a certain amount of return. But how can you guarantee a certain amount of return unless you said, "Hey, come invest in my restaurant or come invest in this movie." And when the movie makes money, because that's how things happen in the movie industry. So when the movie makes money, then I will return your money plus interest. That sounds like a better way that you can say, "I'm gonna." I, does that make sense? That's what their $1,500 down payment was for. Huh. Yeah, it seems like I don't know. I can't really say this for certain because I'm not. All I know is about investing again is what I know, my limited knowledge, and most of that I know from working with, Morgan Stanley. So, I mean, and even with that, that there's some risk involved. Like the market will fluctuate, right? That's not certain. How much risk are you willing to take? So you do know that you may lose some money and you know that you are, I mean, and these companies are sort of backed by, they have regulations that they have to follow. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe he does know how to trade and maybe he does know that space. And so I would imagine it would be better to probably teach people how to do what you do and then they manage their own money. Now that to me sounds more legitimate. Okay, you teach the people what you do and then they learn from you and they can learn from you for as long as they want, but they have to manage their money. Like, I just in my mind, I would not want to be responsible for that because how do you know what the market is going to do? So I think what Amanda does is honestly, I don't quote me on this. Let me put the alleged badge up here. I don't know that what Amanda does is too different from what Bose does. I just don't know that Amanda explained it well. It sounds to me like Amanda is more like a manifestation coach. So she teaches people about and wealth coach, right? So she teaches people, it sounds like from my understanding, her way of manifesting and managing finances, which sounds a lot different from what y'all are saying is happening here, from what I understand. And Bose is very much like I mean, I don't know that she offers any courses, but I know that she does live events where I mean, I don't know if she hosts them on her own, but I've definitely, yeah, she has a whole seminar series or something like that where she also, listen, there is nothing wrong with that business model. It's just that you should be able to properly explain it. I do think that I teach people how to do this. Period. I teach people the method that I use to do this. Yeah, it's like, I mean, what's the problem? Like, Bose, she don't really do that much different from what you do now, right? Although we know that Bose has her whole entire history of, marketing work. But at the end of the day, when you start hosting seminars and you start, helping people in that way, that doesn't sound too much different, especially if they paying to come to it. It don't sound too much different from what Amanda's doing, in my opinion. I just feel like Amanda, right? She didn't explain it very well to them. I will tell you this. Amanda is a perfect example of there is an audience for anything. That's why when you go on YouTube, like, look, let me tell you, let me show you something. Go on YouTube and look up knitting. Okay. Look up knitting. Look up construction. Look up needlepoint. There is a market, and you will see some of these videos have millions of views. So when you really think about it, there are millions of people out there who are looking for something that you have to offer. But you do want to make sure that what you're offering can truly help people. I don't know what the situation was with Christian. I don't truly get it because I don't get why I would I want to be able to see how my money is managed, or I want to get some referrals from with especially with the amount, right? A tangible outcome, a tangible benefit, or I know exactly what I'm getting, and then the stock market is kind of like it fluctuates. So I do think that I don't know. I don't know what the man do. I can't even explain it. I couldn't tell y'all what Jen Shaw did. I couldn't. But that also let me know that when the woman could not explain herself very well, I knew that there was something awry, but I didn't know it was that. I did not know it was that. So if the question for Amanda is, what do people get from the as the end result? Do they get a product? Do they get a book? Do they get, I mean, I'm assuming they probably read. It's probably like therapy in some way, shape, or form. People go to therapy and there's not a physical result there, but they pay for it, right? They do get a result, which is usually intrinsic and internal, right? So they learn about themselves. That is usually the goal of therapy, is to heal. So there's not necessarily always something going to be that's tangible. I don't want anybody to leave this thinking that it always has to be a thing that you can touch, but it is again, I said it last night. If you can take somebody from point A to point B and you can help them get from point A to point B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, all the way down to whatever to Z. Okay, cool. Then that's something that's viable that you can actually provide. That's a service that you can give them. But I think when it becomes very confusing about where you're leading them, or you basically, if he's just taking their money and he's not giving them there's no return, they never hear anything from it, then I do understand that. Okay, that's problematic. That is, yeah, you can't just say I'm going to invest your money and then they don't know what happens to it. But if they invested in knowledge from him, that would be a different situation. Oh, you're going to teach me how to trade, you're going to teach me how to day trade. I know there are plenty of people who do that on YouTube. So if you're saying I'm going to teach you how to trade and it costs XYZ, then okay, cool. That's the service that you provide. I'm going to show you what I do. I don't know. I think at that point, y- you should probably know what you're doing. But and then that way you're not taking their money to actually invest it. You are getting paid to showcase what you do, but you're not taking their money and saying, "Oh, and now I'm going to manage your money." Because then I think that's when you get into a whole different situation. Because that, mm-mm, no, 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 no. Barbara says he's supposed to help them increase their investment by $1,000, by thousands of dollars. Oh, see, now what was he doing once they gave it to him? Did they just never see their money again? Did nobody make any money? What does anybody know? Like what happened to the people? Like, because clearly there had to be something that was like people had to start talking. Like, where's our money at? Did you make any money? Did you make any money off of something that he is supposed to do with it? Because if he says I'll show you what I do, but you gotta use your own, you invest your own money. Then if the people say, "Did you make any money?" No, I didn't make no money. Okay, so then he ain't had nothing to do with your actual money that you was investing. But yeah, I just think it sounds like a very tricky business model. Maybe it had worked for some other people. Maybe that's and he heard about it, but I don't know. I really don't know. And I don't even know how people found him in the beginning to know that that's what he did. So I I guess when I can't understand it, I be confused. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't really understand it. Angela says they didn't make any money, and he started giving them the runaround. Simone, red wine was all the receipts and posts and analysis. Has all. Okay. Okay. So I'll have to check out some of her videos. Oh, has the receipts. Thank you. I do believe you have to keep it simple and make it plain for people so that they really understand. Yeah, I do believe confusion creates doubt. You really have to be very clear on what your offer is to people. Like, okay, what is it that you actually do for people, and what is it that you do with them, and so that they truly understand. And then if they don't understand, I mean, at some point in time, hmm, maybe he should have ran it by somebody first. You know, he should have ran it by somebody. Let's see. Let's see. Did I miss anything in the chatterization? Lakeisha says he used one couple to show they can make money and they shared him with their network and people bought in and they lost all their money. Okay, do y'all remember? This is unrelated, but kind of related, but unrelated. Did anybody during the pandemic participate in a susu? I remember that was pretty big around the pandemic where, I think people would give into a group fund. I think it was supposed to create like community economics, but I think what ended up happening was somehow or another, I would always hear about them becoming so big that they would just sometimes spiral out of control and then people would not get their money because of the way that I think it sounded like it would be difficult to manage. Because if you think about it, once if you have like something that maybe starts off with like maybe 8 people and it grows to like 10 people, it grows to 30 people, then it will grow to what, 100 people. I think once it got to 100 people, it would seem like that's difficult to manage, right? How do you manage all of these people's money that people are putting in here and who gets what and when they get it back? And then at that point, it would sound like it would be like thousands of people. And then all of a sudden, you would stop hearing about people making all this money. Because I remember people would tell me, "Oh yeah, I got my $2,000 back. I got $4,000 by the time I ended it." And it was like, if you, I get the context, I get the premise, but I don't think that it was practical because the more people that joined, it always seemed to be that at some point the cycle fell apart because you could not tell who was getting okay, okay, if you came in and you're number 8,000, well, I'm being facetious. But if you're at number 8,000, you got to wait until like you got to that 8,000 person. And then what if it fell apart at 4,000 in the next cycle? Like then you're out of your money and then you've lost the money that you thought that you were going to get back. And so it seems like that would have worked better if it was, and I'm just thinking about of models of things that I've heard of that are probably difficult to manage when it comes to managing people's money. It's one thing if you have a service or if you have a product and then you sell that, there's an exchange of something. So then it's easy to say, okay, I paid for life coaching, I paid for therapy, I paid for a session, I paid for this, I paid for a book, an ebook, a product, or a t-shirt, a mug, or you know, some canvas beauty or some product, right? You can say, oh, I got this product, I gave them my money, and that's that. That's the transaction. Easy transaction. I knew what I was signing up for. I got the thing in return. That could have been an hour spent with the person. That could have been, whatever it was. But I think it's difficult then when you say, I have to give you $1,500, and then you are going to take that $1,500, and then you are going to multiply that 15. Now that I'm talking it out, oh my God, why would you want to even assume the responsibility for doubling someone else's money that they gave you? If they have to double it themselves, that's one thing. But if you have to double it, that seems like stress. That seems like stress. So it would seem like it might be better to go to a I don't know, like maybe a reputable company, or like, I mean something that this is perplexity. It's perplexity. And I don't even know why I'm trying to understand it because I ain't doing it. Okay. But it would seem to me that he would be able to pay the people their money back if he was not able to do what was promised. Because it would also seem to me that at some point he would have to have a fund set up for just such an emergency, like some amount set aside in case somebody says, "Oh, I want to pull out." Then you can say, "Okay, you can have this amount of your investment back, or you can have your I don't know. Like it would seem that there would be something there to be set up in case it got to that point where because you could lose the people's money too at the same time. And that's also a good question. Like I don't what licenses and certifications do you need? Because I think if you have those, then that probably makes what you do a lot easier. Yes, but I also think that they have, again, the backing of being an institution that is registered to do that. Simply because I think that I could be wrong, but the management of money in that way on such a large scale seems like it might be regulated a bit more than just that an individual can do it. I guess you can hand off your money to anybody and say, "Hey, take my money and put it someplace." But would you trust the person, or would you trust an institution that is backed by, what financial institutions are backed by? Oh, thank you. Okay, Angela just broke it down. Richie. Listen, don't be frustrated with me, Angela. I'm trying to understand it too. Anyway, but thank you for this. He never intended to invest their money, allegedly. His whole intent was to get the people's money and keep. He used it for personal gain. You are supposed to have a license, but he did not. Okay. Bliss says broker's license not that difficult it seems. Insurance backing is the challenge. That's what I was talking about. Like I would think that there is I think that this is the risk or the thing that he's running into now. There was no insurance in place for those people's finances. They said, Angela, they said you nailed it. They said you nailed it, boo. Mm, mm. Well, I mean, there are so many business models out there that I feel like he could possibly be a part of, and I just don't understand why he would want to take that type of risk. That's what I was trying to say. FDIC is government protection for banks. That's what it was. That I think that makes the difference for why people would trust or put their money with like, you know, a Merrill Lynch, Wells Fargo, or whatever banking institution that you are working with. I think that's why there is that level of trust there with people's money. Although banking systems have also collapsed at different points in time too, but it would be better probably to risk it with the bank. But what do I know? What they do is bring in money from new investors to pay off the older investors. Oh, that's a harsh cycle. Toya says, I asked AI. And felons can get a broker's license. However, it would depend on the crimes committed and probably the state. That's what I thought too. I was like, I don't know why Bose is trying. I mean, listen, I could be wrong, but again, I felt the same way that Bose know exactly what Amanda does, and what she does is very much to me. It was easily explained when she explained it. I don't think she maybe explained it well to the ladies, but I got it. I think Bose got it too, to be honest with you. And but you're saying that Bose knows what Amanda does, which is why Bose doesn't like her. Their audiences are different. I do believe that their audiences are very different as well. I didn't want to say it like that, but I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. But it also says a securities broker is hard to obtain as a felon. Who? Who we talking about? Who we thinking about? Amanda? No, I don't think so. I don't. I would. In my opinion, I mean, I don't think so. It sounds like she has a legitimate business setup that they didn't get. I mean, she sells motivational courses and seminars, and people purchase those to help improve their mindset in their life. That honestly is what she should have said. I think that they get the same thing from Bose's seminars. People go and they want to be in, they pay to listen to Bose give advice, to be inspired, and to leave better than they came. I feel like that is the goal. It's the same reason people pay for like a master class, right? Y'all seen those master class things where you can literally sign up and you can get those things from like Kim Kardashian. I think who else has done them? Who else has done the master classes? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Um Shonda Rhimes. I think the difference is that people don't know Amanda. Many of us may not be familiar with Amanda Francis, and she's not some big name. So people don't believe that somebody like her, who they don't know, can actually do what she does. This is what I think it was. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think Amanda explained it, but the ladies won't paying her no mind since it's millennial money. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, I think Dr. Heavenly has Dr. Heavenly University as well. Like, if people, you're paying. Here's the thing. Okay, I have had mentors that I've paid thousands of dollars. I know what it is. A mentor to me gets you closer and to where you want to be a lot faster. So you could try to learn what you want to learn online in YouTube and in different places, and that's great. Or you can learn what you need to learn from directly from somebody who is already doing it, right? Somebody that you know are in proximity to or that you have discovered, right? So I was in a screenwriting mentorship and I paid per month for that. And every month we had sessions, we learned how to write, and I came out of it as a much better screenwriter. I know exactly what to do when I have an idea. I know from start to finish how to write and pitch a script. I know exactly what I'm doing. I paid for mentorship from someone who is doing it, and therefore I now know what she knows. I don't know everything she knows, but I know a lot of what she knows. I know enough for me to now start writing my scripts. I know how to format them. I know how to write a synopsis. I know how to write character breakdowns. I know how to pitch. I know how to make a pitch deck. I learned because I got a mentor and I paid for mentorship. I now know what I know because of that. That's essentially what people like Bose and Amanda do. They teach people what they know and how they got successful and how they got to that point. And somebody who else wants to get to that point, now they can get there faster. So you are paying to get someplace faster than you would have gotten on your own. Period. Right? And not everything is a scam. A lot of times, just because you don't understand it doesn't make it a scam. But I think what ends up happening is when the person cannot explain it very simply, right? And their stories shift. That to me was Jen Shaw's problem. Jen explained it one way, then explained it another way, then explained it another way, and you just never got the full scope of like, girl, what are we talking about? What does this mean? Like can you break it down further in a way that is consistent? I think that is what you do, right? You at least got to be able to say, I help people go from X from here to here, and I use my systems and my formats in order to do that. And when you leave, you will have a better understanding of how to do X, Y, and Z. And now you can be successful doing that. But it is also completely up to you in terms of the effort that you put once you've gotten the information that I give you, right? So you have to be able to execute. You have to be able to take action. But at the end of the day, you got to also understand it too, right? So it's just like even in our conversations, right? I help people understand how to get started on YouTube utilizing the knowledge that I know and the systems and things that I did. And in order to also show you that, I sit down with one of my clients and I walk you through the process of what we told her to do and how she got to where she got. By the end of what you get, you now have more knowledge and you understand what it is that you need to do step by step, and you can go out and do that. End of story. Now, at at the end of the day, what you don't promise is you are going to get rich quick doing this. That to me is that to me is scammy. That sounds scammy. You're going to get rich by doing X, Y, and Z. No, you cannot tell anybody that they're going to be rich, because at the end of the day, that is going to be determined by the amount of effort that that person puts in and how capable they are at the end of the day. Like, you can't predict that. That's not predictable. That's not predictable. Also too, a Ponzi scheme and a pyramid scheme are a little bit different from multi-level marketing, and I think people get that confused very often. And let me break it down for you. Uh, a Ponzi scheme, a pyramid scheme is when you think about a pyramid scheme, you could look at your employment as a pyramid scheme as well, right? In a pyramid scheme, you are likely to never make more than the person who is ahead of you. Just like in most situations, you will likely never make more at your job than your boss. So you could say that the person at the top, who is the CEO, will always make more money than the people at the bottom. By all intents and purposes, the way it's described that a pyramid is, that's pretty much it. In multi-level marketing, you can make more than the person who brought you in. When you really look at it. So you got to understand, like, I think it's super easy for people to say, to lump everything all in the same category. But when you really break it down, you really got to understand it, because I know plenty of people like the Coach Stormies who are in network marketing who go into their organizations and then they surpass everybody around them. I mean, just look at what, if you know who Coach Stormy is, chime in the chat, and I think you will understand network marketing, multi-level marketing is is a hit for a lot of people. Just look. I mean, just look at it. Exactly. People usually know what's happening in a multi-level marketing organization, but in a Ponzi scheme, everyone doesn't usually know what's happening. They don't usually know what's going on. And so that's why, from what you guys are telling me, that's why it sounds like people are saying what Christian was doing was that. They said they're I think that they're very different. Yes. And she says people call her the tea lady, but I think she's doing something else now with beauty products and stuff. So um it's possible that they can, but it's also possible that you, if the person who brought you in, if you are more active than that person, you can make more money than that person. You can literally surpass them because they may not have hit all the requirements that were necessary, and maybe you did and you kept growing and growing and growing. So at that point you can surpass that person. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier too. I feel like it's like this form of like community economics that probably lends itself much better to smaller communities. And if you spiral it out of control, I don't want to say out of control, if it grows too large, then it sounds like it can become a problem to manage. And if it becomes a problem to manage, then people may not end up leaving satisfied. Yeah. And here's the thing too, like, I always feel like this. At the end of the day, the customer is the most important thing, right? And I have this issue. Oh my God, I had this issue come up with a vendor that I work with. I won't say the name of the vendor, but it's a company that I worked with in the past. And I, one of the things that was said that I did not like was, oh, something happened and I was like making a complaint. And I said, the customer does not know this. I said, this is an easy fix to be able to put something on a website and say, here's what the customer needs to know. Um, and I said, just put that on the website. That way people have their questions answered. And then the account manager told me, she said, well, that's on them. And I was like, no, it's not. The customer does not know what they don't know, but you do. So you have an obligation to let them know what they don't know. And if that question comes up and you know that it is because I'm raising it, then now it's your obligation to fix it. Otherwise, I can't keep working with you if the customer is not gonna be your prime concern. Because guess what? They gotta be for me. I can't function if the customer does not get what they need. Period. So I do think, yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to do your due diligence, but I also think that it's just about, yeah, everybody should be making money. And that clearly, it sounds like what the premise of that situation was, but they should also be feeling good about it. Like there should be excitement about it. They can see what's happening, with that. Um, and you always want to just make sure that even if they don't know something, that you can still help them along the way. And so if they know more during the process, then they're probably less likely to want to leave that process because they have you there to be the guide for them. So, I do think that, yeah, I agree with you, but I also think it's it's the responsibility too of the company, of the person involved to say, I want to make sure that my people are taken care of. Yes, total life changes and girl hold my hand, Coach Stormy. Um, Super successful network marketer, super successful at what she does. And she's moved to a new company and now she is also super successful there too. And I'm sure she came into the door and surpassed, everybody. Not to knock anybody, and like I don't know what they're doing in terms of how they do it and how much they're making, but I can pretty much probably tell you, knowing who she is, that she just has the passion to be able to surpass whomever, and so there's a difference between, Ponzi and network marketing or multi-level marketing. I think that people have to have that distinction. Yeah, we be having some good discussions lately. And listen, at the end of the day, I ain't trying to give y'all no investment advice because I don't know enough about it. I know what I do, and I take my money right on down to the Morgan Stanley, or I utilize the Robin Hood. That's it. That is it. That's it, and that's all. Oh yeah, you know what? This is a slightly different conversation, which is fine too. I didn't even intend to go here, but I feel like I just kind of went with the stories in the way that they kind of made the most sense in my head. We had been talking about Potomac, so I went with that one first. I felt like the Kandi story was pretty big, so we might spend a chunk of time on that one. And I kind of thought that I would close out on the Jennifer and Christian story simply because I felt like it was going to be a short thing, and I would just kind of like move on from it. But the conversation just kind of spiraled. So I was like, oh, let me try to. If I felt like if I could talk to y'all, I could try to walk my way through understanding what he did. But every time I do a video on this, I still never really get it. And I never really, after I finish, go back and take the time to really go look it up. So I end up in the same place, you know? So mhm, that's it. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just decided, I felt like this week, you know what, let's jazz it up. I had to get dressed up yesterday. And today I just felt like, you know what? Let's get a little jazzy for the people with the people. You know what I'm saying? Let's show up like we going someplace. That's kind of like the shit that I had about going to the airport. I do not like to go to the airport now in like just anything. I will dress comfortably. And I think that there's a space where you can dress nice, but also be really, really comfortable. And I think it depends on the material, right? Who makes some good travel? I think I don't really shop there, but I know that the Lululemon people make really good like travel wear that looks kind of like nice, still looks like you're going someplace. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's a breathable, stretchable fabric type of travel wear that I'm talking about. It almost looks like athleisure wear, but it's still kind of dressy. That's kind of how I like to be. So anyway, how that relates to this, I really don't know how I got there, but all I'm saying is I just decided to show up like I'm going someplace. Sheba Sheree. Okay, you cannot go wrong with a matchy set. Lord, y'all crazy joggers. Spring, summer, September. Sheba Sheree when the website working. Is that website working? Let me see. Hold on. SheBaSheree.com. She got some things on her website in case y'all want to be nosy. See, look. Hmm. It's more like a merch shop, if you ask me. Lots of reviews. Hmm. Yeah, it looks like she set up a Shopify account, and I'm sure she has a vendor that she uses. I don't know if it's like Printify or some other vendor. She's got a book up here. Hmm. You can book Sheree here. Yeah. So she's still out here doing her thing. This bag is nice. 125. It's not too bad. Get yourself a little coffee tumbler. I'm not mad at the site. Gift cards. I mean, you name it, you can get it. Come on, Sheree. So the site is working. Yes, it's still operating. It's still operating. Thank you, Felicia. I appreciate you. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Uh-oh. Oh, Jewel says, "Hey, chat room, be sure to watch Richie's last two evening lives." Yes. Yes, 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 yes. In the evening, I will be also back probably around 5 or 6, probably 6, maybe 5:36, and we'll be talking about, I'll be helping people who want to set up like their content creation, start their content creation journey. I'll walk you through the process and, try to help as many people as I possibly can. So if you have questions or anything like that, I'll probably put the live link up after this video so that you can also have it to see. Um, and we will just I got a client at what time is that? Oh, my client, well, my first I have 2 sessions. I have one at 1 and then I have one at 3. Okay. So that ends at 4:30. My client sessions are like 90 minutes. So I need a break after 4:30. So I'll probably do 6 because I also need to cook dinner. Y'all want me to order something? I'm gonna order something. Y'all know I like to support the peoples. Renita says, "Thank you, Richie. I've been looking into making an LLC." Yeah, I mean, depending on what state you're in, it's pretty simple. I think, you know, um, get that done, get your EIN and all that good stuff, and get to work, man. Get to work. Stone Art Cat says this conversation is getting my day started right. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's a good question. I don't know why she's not promoting it. I would probably put these things on TikTok Shop. No, that's what I would do if I was her. Yeah, I mean, you can yeah, put everything under one roof. That it does make a lot of sense and it does simplify the process. I mean, I'll have to do it on my off time so I can put my credit card information in there, but we'll see. Wait, what? She's a fitness coach at Lifetime Fitness at North Druid Hills? Oh, that's pretty. I mean, I always felt like fitness should be her thing anyway. So to be honest with you, she should have probably had like a fitness app by now. And people could just if you love Sheree, you can follow her on her fitness app. This is what I would do if I was her. I would definitely have a fitness app. It would be She by Sheree, the app, and inside the app, I would do my own classes, my own, whether it is like body toning, the sculpting. I would do my own little workouts. Then everybody could get their workouts on, and if you want to pay a little extra, you can get a personalized workout along with motivational, messages from Sheree herself that she could send you directly through the app, and you would get those as daily motivation to get your workout on. And then I would also maybe work with a nutritionist to offer custom meal plans for people who want a bigger booty, a bigger rump, you know what I'm saying, or you want to get in shape and you want that She by Sheree touch. I would do that. I would do all that. Listen, work ain't honest, but it pays the bills. Saltwater African Queen, I love this name, says, "Did you know Sheree has a novel?" Yes. I knew she had a novel that she had put out some time ago. I always wondered why she never kept doing it, but it does take a lot of time to write the book. You know, It does take a lot of time. Whether she wrote it herself or had a ghostwriter write it or something like that, I don't know. Because a lot of celebrities will have somebody else write the book. So I don't see nothing wrong with that because it's like, especially she could have came up with the story. But I'm not saying that she did that. I'm just saying that she could have. But it would be smart for her to work with. That's another thing. She could work with. No, you know what? I'm gonna give y'all the marketing plan I've been thinking about. This is for Candy though. I think Candy should come out with a collection of smutty romance novels. Like, and they should all be based around a dungeon theme. But I don't think that she should write the books. I think that every book she should partner with a different writer, like an urban fiction writer. Kind of like how James Patterson does. James Patterson will he'll put his name at the top of a book, and then the other author's name will be at the bottom. So it all is under Candy's Dungeon or something like that, Dungeon Publishing, right? And then she should obviously she sell those books on her Amazon lives and at her dungeon events, right? So now, as a divorcee, soon to be divorced, I would then, if I was like, I ain't managing her or nothing like that, but then this is what I would like to see. So then I would say at some point I would start doing a series of dungeon shows, like a little bit of like a dungeon tour. And I would work with some other women who have also public figures, public women who have also been divorced. So it would be kind of like the dungeon divorce tour, but not wouldn't call it, I wouldn't add in the divorce. But I would just work with women who have gotten divorced. And then I would also work with the women who are also in different cities to incorporate them into the dungeon tour. Now, you connect all of these things, obviously, with the dungeon books, right? The merch, then the dungeon tour slash party or whatever like that. And then the next day, obviously, you probably could do a little escape show or something like that in the city that you already in, right? That's what I would do. Oh, Bedroom Candy has some books on the website. I didn't even know that. Oh yeah, I gives out the free marketing plan over here. Yep, just do it. She does have so much potential in the fitness space. It hurts my heart that she hasn't fully tapped into the industry. I don't know why. I mean, she could start. It's always listen. There's always today. Today is always a new day, a new time to start, a new way of living. A new way of life. The new Sheree way. You know, that's what I would do. See, there you go. She can bundle it with the romance with Bedroom Candy. And so apparently she already has the books, but I will focus a lot more on those books because people love to read. Book talk is real. Yeah, she's on Broadway, but I don't think the dungeon is ever too it's because the dungeon sounded like a here's the thing. I think that there's a way that she can now connect with a lot of other women in a lot of other ways because Candy has always obviously been a star, and she is. We can say that. She's done the escape. She's had the show. I mean, she's had the TV shows, movies, and stuff like that. But honestly, I think that having that type of party and being able to connect with other women and maybe men who have also experienced divorce at those types of like events, I just feel like why not? Why not? Her body is given. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I I want us to be out of the. I want them. My biggest wish for them is that they just settle it out of court or settle it in court, whatever they got to do. Settle it, seal it. and they find a way to mediate it and keep it pushing. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to really see. I just hate to see that for them. All of these things come out like that. You know what I'm saying? Yep, there is always a market for adult romance, no matter the niche. Okay, I'll tell y'all. And you don't see anybody else who has been on Housewives really taking in that space and dominating it. And then later on, she could sell the brand and make millions of dollars. People do that. Mhm. People write their books under a name, and then what they will do is I see it done a lot of in nonfiction, so I don't know how many people are doing it in fiction. And then they will build that brand, and then they will sell it for a couple million, and then whatever brand buys it, then they will just continue with that brand, and then somebody else will be writing those books. Hey, Lorraine, guess what? I'm gonna go ahead and excommunicate you. Bye now. Okay. Sell it and get that Bethany Frankel coin. That's what I'm talking about. Like make that money and then, just bask in the sunset. You know what I'm saying? Like bask in the glow of the sunset. What else I missed? Let me just go back to your comments. What am I cooking today? I am going to fry some chicken in the air fryer. I'll probably make some rice and I might do some asparagus or Brussels sprouts. I'm not sure which. I like the air fryer. The air fryer, man, it solves so many problems. It just makes the cooking process so much easier. In fact, when I get off here, I'm gonna eat my lunch before my 1 o'clock, and I'm gonna season the chicken. So I got to do that. Should I do some cooking on here too? Y'all do not want to see me cook. Oh no, that would be a mess. That would be an absolute mess. Let me see, did I miss anything else? Y'all know I could talk for a couple of hours. So don't get me started. All right. So yeah, we will be back tonight with our discussion on, for anybody who wants to get started on YouTube, or if you want to just get started on, the online content creation journey, anything in the content creation space, I definitely will hop on here, give you guys what I know. It's Travel Tuesday, so we'll talk a little bit about travel today. I may have somebody on, I'm not sure, or we may pre-record that and I'll still do this and keep them kind of separate a little bit. I'm just not really sure which one we're going to do yet, but I will have that figured out shortly. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and tapping in. It's lunchtime now, so I know a lot of y'all about to go eat y'all lunch as well. Please click the like button on this video, y'all. Like, it helps the algorithm. It just helps boost the channel in general, and we appreciate it. Also, too, we have the live podcast coming up with myself and Monique. It is going to be on Sunday, January 25th. The doors open at 1 p.m. It's at the Bethesda Theater. We will have a DJ. It is going to be an event. It's going to be brunch. So come hungry. All right. Come prepared to have a good time. We got Jamie and Arena Tyler in the building. We got the Duncans in the building. WPGC 95.5 FM is our sponsor for the event. So you do not want to miss that. I mean, and you might even just pop up on the radio. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So go ahead and get your ticket. Let me see if I pasted the link in the chat. You guys can go there, or you can go directly to the BethesdaTheater.com and get your tickets as well. I hope to see you there because I want to be able to give you a hug and just thank you personally for watching our channels and for supporting all that good stuff. And we're going to have some great conversation too. So I want you to be in the building. I want you to come see us live, and I want to connect with y'all in person because we will be also doing that as well. Just connecting with people who have been supporting us, because that's also super important to both of us. And Monique and I have been looking forward to trying to work together for some time to do something positive and to do something fun. So this is going to be that event. So with that being said, y'all, I will catch you later on tonight. I'll put the link up. Give me 1 second and I will put that up momentarily. So that way you guys can go ahead and save that time to tap in. All right. Yeah. Okay. I'm just checking my text messages. All right. I'll catch you guys in the next video.